Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, Functional Medicine Centers. Welcome, and I've got Michelle with me, my wonderful wife today. We're going to be talking about brain fog. Brain fog, a lot of people have it, and yet it's not a fun thing to deal with. And brain fog, when you're dealing with brain fog, it's hard to be present. It's hard to be your best self. So what do we need to do? We're going to go over 6 things that you can do right now, today, tomorrow morning, whatever you got to do to help your brain fog. So what is brain fog? Brain fog for people are going to be different things. So it could be that brain fog is going to be, you forget where you put your keys. It's going to be where you're just not able to stay engaged in a conversation. Or like if I'm doing this video and I kind of blank out for a second, like what was I saying? You know, anything like that, that can be brain fog. It can be if you're studying, if you're going to school or doing your work, whatever you're doing, and just not able to stay engaged. So both of our books that we've written, mine, Rebuild Your Brain, Stop the Damage, Start the Repair. Michelle's, can't really see the title, but it's Interval Train for a Healthy Brain. You know, a huge part of it. I have had multiple concussions. Michelle, what's happened to your brain?
I had Lyme and autoimmune disease happening straight to the brain. You would ask me where things are, and there was just this deer in the headlights. I have no idea.
Yeah, and that's Michelle had always been the one that'd be like, where's that? Where do we keep that one thing?
You're
And
right,
she's
it
like,
was.
I put it in a safe place, and so that's our joke now is that it's a safe place, and where is it? I don't know, but it's safe. It's not broken. I guarantee that. So you know, a lot of different things. We had a moldy house, and that was causing a lot of the brain fog. It can be my concussions that I've had. A lot of things can contribute to brain fog. So let's get into some of the top steps, some of the top things that you can do now to start reversing your brain fog. So this is one of the things that I talk about all the time. Obviously, it's a crucial part of our practice and how we save lives every single day, is that you need to balance your blood sugar. I had a patient today, he's up in Wyoming, he's 15 years old, and you know, he has these episodes where he like goes away. He's in like some other world. People will be talking to him, not even knowing that he's there. We like blood sugar 85 to 110. His blood sugar was 61 when we tested him in office. He had already eaten, he was crashing, his insulin was high. He was even going to be going lower, 40s and 50s, over the next hour or two if he didn't eat. So it was going to be pretty extreme, and you know, that's a big part of it. So blood sugar crashes can really cause some of that brain fog, but also spikes too.
Ever heard the word hangry?
Hey Doris, good to see you. Yeah, and anybody hungry and angry. Anybody pop down below where you guys are watching from. Love to see everybody on here. We get patients all over the country, all over the world. So yeah, love to see everybody on there. Had somebody from Hawaii a couple days ago. Don, he's down there in Tennessee. Good to see you, Don. So you know, that's that hangry, that just crash. You're like, you know, glazed look. A lot of people, when that blood sugar goes down, hey Nancy in Michigan, good to see you. When that blood sugar goes down, we're going to get hypoglycemic. We're not going to be able to function as well as we should. But when it goes up, what I found as I started doing the continuous glucose monitor, tracking that blood sugar all the time, if I hit 130, let's say I had some gluten-free pasta that the kids were eating at dinner, I'd be sitting on the couch. I don't know if I told you this, but
No, I remember the 132. He was like
and I was like,
he tried jelly.
It must have been a long day. You know, I'm extra tired tonight or whatever. But you know, 7:30, and I was like, I was out, and it's like, oh, well, that's all I have to do is keep my blood sugar steady, and my brain's going to be dialed in. I'm going to be able to stay focused on my kids and be able to really be engaged even up until bedtime. So keeping that blood sugar as steady as possible, huge part of the brain. The brain needs oxygen and it needs glucose for fuel. And if neither of those are where they're supposed to be, we'll have problems. Hey Paula, good to see you there in Pennsylvania. All right, Michelle's gonna hit number 2. We're gonna talk about the exercise and what exercise can do for the brain.
So all exercise can be beneficial and helpful to the brain, but they found specifically, my book is about high intensity interval training because that's what helped heal me the most. Even living in the mold still, even not having everything completely dialed in, when I started the high intensity interval training, my brain started healing, even though I was still reacting to the mold. So scientifically looking up, why is the HIIT, the HIIT, so much more effective than just regular exercise or just taking a walk? For one thing, they found that the muscle contraction, as we're contracting the muscles, there are molecules that are released that actually are able to cross the blood-brain barrier and stimulate brain-derived neurotropic factor, one of our favorite words here, BDNF. BDNF is a chemical that helps create or repair or sustain brain cells from being, apoptosis, from being destroyed. So BDNF is a great thing. Another reason why HIIT can be very beneficial is it can be done in a shorter amount of time. So we always recommend kind of more 9 to 15, maybe 20-minute exercises. When you're doing your ideal heart rate for a lower amount of time, you're going to stimulate less stress, which means less what? Cortisol. We're going to talk about cortisol in a minute. Cortisol increases inflammation and decreases production of BDNF, and we want that BDNF for the brain repair. So.
Absolutely. So that exercise piece, and just moving throughout the day, this is going to be huge. That's why if I turned my camera, and some of you have shown this in other videos, I've got a standing desk here. And so I'm on Zoom with patients all over the country. Just talked to a lady in Vermont today, talked to people way up by northern Wyoming, all over the place. And so I'll be kind of, if you ever see me on Zoom, if you're a patient and I'm kind of doing this, that's because I'm marching in place and I'm keeping blood flow going. And so it's really important, if you sit all day long, that blood's going to pool, it's going to be stagnant, it's going to be harder for that brain to function. So you've got to move throughout the day.
I have a teeny little stair stepper, like one of those teeny things right at my standing desk.
Do you ever use it?
I have done it with a couple of patients.
Yeah, and so you can do this little stair stepper.
You just have to be a little sly.
And just like, how can I keep my head straight while moving my feet? So got to move throughout the day. Set your timer if you work from home. Set your timer every half hour. Do a couple minute walk, or every hour do a 5 or 10 minute walk. You've got to get up and move. So next one we want to talk about is check for anemia. Anemia is where you do not have enough oxygen because of the low. Two things. It could be low iron or it could be low B12. But there are two types of anemia, and the most common is the low iron. And so the brain needs oxygen and glucose. And so if you have low iron, if you're anemic, there is no way you're going to be getting that blood flow to the brain like you need to, oxygen to the brain, and be able to really get that spark that you need to keep your brain going. Out here it is 6:30 at night, and still going. Been going since early this morning. And we got another class after this that we're going to, and then by home 8:30, 9 o'clock I'll be ready for bed. But until then, it's going to be able to continue on throughout this. Sleep is another huge part of this, and this is something that I've kind of pulled Michelle a little bit over the years.
This has helped me, this Whoop. It makes me want to get a bed up.
So if you have any type of a tracking device, a Garmin, a Fitbit, this is Whoop, WHOOP, and it basically tells you what your sleep quality was. There's an Oura ring, so there's rings that you can wear, all types of different things. But tracking your sleep is really important. But like what we did in the past, it was, we want to keep the heat on, and Michelle would be cold, and so I have worked her over to where we've got baseboard heat in our room, and we'll turn it down to 60 degrees in the winter, and it'll be nice and chilly. She'll put her weighted blanket on, another blanket, and be all nice and cozy, and you sleep pretty darn well. And so here's some different things. You want to sleep cooler. That's important. Michelle went and got blackout curtains, and so very, very dark. The neighbor, even though we're on like an acre and the neighbor is so far away, the light somehow just comes right into our window. That getting that good quality sleep. If you've got street lights out there, that can affect it. If you've got any light shining in, you want to dim that as much as you possibly can.
Or I use that eye cover sometimes.
Yeah, some people will use eye covers as well, and that's a nice thing. If some people need to wear earplugs, maybe their husband snores or whatever. It's a thing. It happens. And so also we have a salt lamp that we have on, so that reddish orange light. We each have a massage gun, and we'll sit there and massage, talk to the boys, breathe, relax, pray, just really calm things down. Turn your lights down low, put them on dimmers, anything like that you can. You've got to get that quality sleep. If you're getting cold,
that phone out of here.
Yeah, I forgot that one. Put the phone down, the iPad, the computer, the TV out of the room, calm it down, and that's going to be a huge part of getting that better quality sleep. So then tomorrow you're going to have less brain fog.
And more energy.
And more energy all day long. The next one that we're going to talk about is we want to balance our autonomics. What is autonomics? Autonomics is automatic nervous system. So we have two things. We can be in fight or flight, or
rest, digest, and
reproduce.
not reproduce.
Yes. And so
I'm not interested in that anymore.
yeah, we got our 4 boys, that's enough. So fight or flight, or resting, digesting, reproducing. And so this is a big part of it. If somebody is in this chronic fight or flight pattern, their brain is going to be scattered. It's going to be always looking for whether that snake is a stick or a snake. Which is it? And if it's just a stick, not a snake, okay, you can move on. But if you're constantly looking and oh my gosh, that's going to be a major stressor to the brain. It won't be able to stay as engaged, and it's going to spill out of where it's supposed to be. So resting, relaxation, meditation, prayer, sitting out. What have I told you to do?
Sit under a tree.
Sit under a tree by the river and just watch the river go by.
But I teach people deep belly breathing. It's a big one, because we breathe naturally. If we're in fight or flight, we breathe into right here like this. And if you try that, as soon as you do that, it literally sets off cortisol, fight or flight in our body. So keeping that all down and breathing deeply into the belly. And I don't teach any don't hold your breath. Just breathe and let air come into your entire belly. Let that movement happen. It really brings oxygen to the brain and calms the system down. I also have a lot of patients do progressive muscle relaxation in the evening, where you kind of contract each muscle group and fully let it go.
Yeah, if you haven't done that one, that's fun. Where
yeah.
You start in your feet and you go tense, and then let it go. And then you cramp your calves and then let it go.
And you feel that let go. Like, have you done that at all today?
It's a really big difference. Like, if you're like this all day long, I remember my mom, and one of the big reasons why she got MS was because she burned herself out. She would leave at 5:30 in the morning, get home at 5:30 at night, and then she'd grade papers every night, and I'd walk by and just feel her shoulders, and they were rocks. And even 20 years after she had to go on disability, couldn't teach anymore, she still had this giant knot in there from years of doing that. Doris, yeah, try that breathing. If you got any questions on that, Doris, drop us a line and we'll get that. Hey, Eric, good to see you. So gotta get that calm down, gotta get you out of that fight or flight and more of that balance, and that's going to clear out some of that brain fog. And then we want to feed our brain, and there's specific nutrients that are going to be better for the brain than others. Obviously, we already talked about blood sugar. That's not great if we're spiking up or crashing down, but fat is actually really important for the brain, and a lot of people are not eating enough fat. So the brain is made up.
Enough sugar.
Yeah, they're eating sugar but not fat. Maybe they're eating hydrogenated fats, or French fries or some different things. Hey, Suzette.
Let's get some awesome avocados, avocado oil, coconut.
Yeah, and even some saturated fats are okay. A lot of people are afraid of butter, of coconut oil, of even lard, and some of these different ones are okay in moderation. Michelle has, I'm telling you, a couple pieces of bacon every morning.
Yeah.
And so she
love the bacon. And then I put in my drink with my collagen protein powders, I put butter. Always butter.
Yeah, butter. I do coconut oil in mine a lot of times.
MCT.
Yeah, MCT oil is kind of that ketone part of the coconut oil. Having those good fats. Oh, Suzette, awesome. Brain fog is almost completely lifted.
Hey.
So happy for you. That's been a long time coming. You've been dealing with that brain fog. And so, for Suzette out there in North Platte, she's been working through this program with us and really seeing the changes because she's put in the work, the energy, and really starting to make some great changes there. So fuel your brain. The brain needs fat. The brain is made up of about 70% fat, and a high percentage of that is cholesterol. So you've got to fuel it with the right things. Nuts and seeds are okay as well. Some of those they say some of the foods that look like certain things. So like a walnut looks like a brain. So there's reports that walnuts can be beneficial for the brain. Feed it vegetables. Feed it a lot of good nutrients that way.
And there's vitamins that are really helpful with brain fog. Vitamin D3, vitamin E.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the supplements are going to be helpful as well. There's some brain-based supplements, but again, I would rather you do all these other things first, and then if you still need some support, then we'll move on here. Just had a patient come in today, 80 years old, and he's been doing great up until the last year or two, and really some major decline, memory, focus, some pre-Alzheimer's type things. But we looked at his blood sugar and all of his blood work, and he's in the diabetic, pre-diabetic range. His insulin's through the roof, his inflammation's through the roof. He can't feel his toes. He's having neuropathy. They call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. So he's already having neuropathy of the nerves in his feet. I brushed it with a Kleenex and he couldn't feel it at all. And so if we have degeneration there, we also have degeneration up there. So we've got to keep all those things steady. Thanks so much, guys, for jumping on with us. These are some things that you can do for any type of brain issue that you have going on, but especially that brain fog. Like or share this video with anybody that you know out there that could use this. You know, you're sitting in your cubicle setting and they're like, oh man, I'm just so out of it today. Send this over. There's things you guys can do now. Your friends, family, everybody can do to get their brain back. And it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take tons of brain power, which you may not have if you've got all this brain fog right now, but it doesn't take all this extra energy. You just got to move your feet a little bit, do some of these good things.
Stand up, take a break, lift your arms overhead, breathe. You know, you can change your setting and change your state.
You can change your state very, very quickly. So great to have you on, everybody. We'll see you soon, and stay strong out there.
Good night.